First of all, thanks for taking the time. Wanted to ask, you know, you, coach, you and the coaches always say that games like these can serve as learning experiences. So what can you learn and take away from the game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that it gets us kind of locked back in. I think that, you know, it's a little bit frustrating game because the last one of our 3-game road homestand, and now we go on the road. And it was a little bit of controllables. You know, you have to give credit to Connecticut for making our game a little bit ugly, but it seemed like the ball was getting stuck. We weren't moving both sides, and I don't know what we scored in the second half, but it wasn't a lot of points.
So does a game like that? Does a game like that now? Obviously, you guys have aspirations to win a title. Does a game like that going to the road should really reignite you guys and fire you guys up for next year?
Yeah, I mean, it better. I mean, I think that, you know, we talked about locking back in, and that's really it. You know, we're gonna, of course, you know, sometimes things aren't gonna go your way. Sometimes, you know, you're gonna lose games, but what are we gonna do to control the next thing, and the next day, and the next game, and having that mindset and mentality to like embrace the hard. You know, we don't want this to be easy, and like I said, you know, post Olympics, like shit gets even harder from here because teams are really trying to kind of do a playoff push and get to a great spot. So we need to embrace that a little bit, and what better way to do it than play Phoenix on the road?
She's slowly inching her way back, but how does Benigilini Hamilton perhaps change the course of this game if she's healthy enough to partake?
Yeah, I think just the way that she's an excellent two-way player, obviously a vet, and you know, someone that this team relies on, and just translating defense into offense. I think that, you know, there was times and possessions defensively where we were just late. You know, we helped one time, but we didn't help the next time, and consistently, you know, we know that she's a force defensively.
Stewie, Sabrina made a promise post-game that you all weren't going to lose like this again. So I guess, how would you describe the way that you lost? And I guess, how are you going to make sure that even if you lose, it's not going to be like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think just making sure that, you know, no matter what, we're gonna always put our best foot forward. And I feel like, you know, you could feel in the second Dallas game, like there was some slippage happening, and it happens over the course of the season, which is why, you know, losing this game, we need to turn it into it's a negative, and obviously turning it into a positive, and realizing that, you know, a wake-up call for everyone. Like I said, I feel like I've been saying we haven't done anything, and you know, we need to finish this regular season strong and just make sure we leave it all out on the court.
What adjustments do you feel you guys need to kind of make, you know, especially going against such a strong defense, and, you know, having 19 turnovers this game, you know, is definitely not the greatest, especially going on the road now to play the Mercury. What kind of adjustments do you feel you want to make and see going into this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we were really trying to make the home run play sometimes on the first side of the action. I think that, you know, we know that if we can move the ball to the second and third side, like analytically, it works out really well for us. And just continuing to play, you know, playing well off of one another, and you know, when the ball is moving, it's finding the open person. I think that, you know, going to Phoenix, obviously they play really well at home, and making sure we're locked in defensively, ball screens, like what are we doing schematically, because you know, now we have to go on the road and be like road warriors a little bit.
Like you said, this is now halfway through a 6-11 stretch, and you're heading back to the West Coast after coming back. So there's some slippage in Dallas, and then tonight. How much of this is fatigue, and how can you lock in on just what's next?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to give the fatigue excuse. I think that everyone, if you look at everyone's schedule right now, it's kind of wild. We had an opportunity to be home and sleep in our own beds, so this is the WNBA, and you guys know, like, the turnarounds are quick because you're here too. But we need to kind of lean and rely on one another, and that means making sure that everyone's kind of resting and recovering and getting ready to go, because it's only going to be harder, you know, throughout these next 3 weeks.
Something of your identity this year as a team is you're often cutting to the basket, and, you know, teammates are finding you, but it just seemed like that happened a little bit less tonight than usual. What did you think was the reason for that?
Like us getting cuts to the basket, or me specifically?
I mean both.
Yeah.
I mean everyone sort of feeds off of it when you guys are playing at your best.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, Connecticut did a great job controlling the tempo, and that's really what they want to do. There was a stretch where it was like we were just settling for threes. It was probably 5 possessions where we shot a 3 every single time down the court, and that's the moment where we have to have like the maturity to be like, all right, we need a good play where we can get downhill, and even if we get into the paint, get a paint touch, and then a 3, it's a little bit different than just a 3.
So I was going to follow up on that. How much of Connecticut's defense was unique, seeming like they were okay with you taking threes, but more focused on cutting off the paint than maybe other defenses this year? Like, was that unique tonight, or was it, as you said, a matter of settling?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you went to the first half, both teams didn't shoot the ball well from 3 and probably didn't shoot the ball well the entire course of the game. But they were really loaded up. You could see it. They were packing the paint and forcing us to make an outside shot. And, when we played at home the last time, we were hitting those 3s. But when we played at their home the last time, we were getting downhill. And making sure that we can win in different ways. And tonight, we obviously kind of settled.
A few more?
I'm going to change it a little bit. Stu, you became the second player in WNBA history to make 500 made field goals with a team before 70 games, joining Simone Augustus. As you just look through everything that you've done with the New York Liberty, you shattered a lot of records last year, and you'll continue to do this. What's your mindset and what's your thought process, when you sit back and just look at everything you've done thus far?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously over the moon being here in New York and really representing the Liberty. I think that the records are cool. They'll be cooler once I'm done, but I'm not aging out. But I think that, really credit to my teammates for helping me be in the position to have the success. But also you have to look at all these records and realize, we're playing way more games. So there needs to be some kind of asterisk because the season wasn't 40 games like it was before.
Josh.
Stu, you spoke about wake-up call and things of that nature. Tonight, them scoring 48 points in the paint. Does this game possibly become personal? And just you guys, you're going to try and make sure moving forward it doesn't happen again.
I mean, I don't think it's going to become personal. I think that now we finished the series with Connecticut 3-1, and first and foremost, happy we have won that series because if it does come down to a tiebreaker, we know that we had the head-to-head. But we let Connecticut do what they do and score points in the paint. I think they had 24 at halftime, and I think as posts, especially we have to take ownership of that and realize that we didn't make it hard enough for them tonight, and they made things a little bit difficult for us.
There was a stretch. Oh, go ahead.
Tonight, the team had 11 offensive rebounds, and since the break, this team is second in offensive rebounding. How important is that team effort on the last week, especially for Steph Curry?
Yeah, I mean, I think the O boards are something that it's amazing to see us continue to kind of trend in the right direction with that, getting multiple opportunities to score the basketball. And whether we O board or not, trying to get in front of our opponents, if you guys know what I mean, so that we can also get back in transition and not get any fast break points.
There was a stretch late in the third where it was an 11-point lead cut to 4 because Leo scored 7 straight.
Yeah.
You hit her a couple of times ahead on leak-outs, but she was also guarding Duana Bonner for a lot of the night, staying down a lot of those pump fakes. What did you just see from Leo today that really helped you guys stay in the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think Leo just, really, the quick evolution of her as, being in this league, being a WNBA player, and taking what the defense gives her. I think that, offensively, she doesn't try to do too much. She just plays really well, and the ball finds her. And defensively, taking a lot of pride in her matchup and knowing that, no matter what it's going to be, she's going to make sure that they shoot a tough shot.
Thanks, Stewart.
Thank you. Have a good
Points in the paint tonight. It was 46 to 28. And it felt like Connecticut was really dictating what you guys were doing offensively. They were really crashing down inside and a lot of outside shots. What do you think of just the general way that you guys attacked that defense tonight?
First of all, kudos to Connecticut coming out and playing. They had a back-to-back, and, you know, they played like they didn't, and I think, you know, we kind of played like we had a back-to-back. Yeah, our defense was kind of all over the place, and I think, you know, I always take ownership of myself, and I wasn't really the spark that we needed tonight on the defensive side, and I take ownership on that side. You know, we just didn't click, and, you know, when it gets hard, normally we kind of lock in, but for some reason today we didn't. So, I mean, it's just a learning. I'm glad we went through this. You know, it's just one game. Now we have to, like, regroup, and we have a tough road games coming up. So.
Sabrina made a promise post-game that you all weren't going to lose like this again. So I guess how would you describe the way that you all lost, and I guess how are you going to remember this and how it felt, and not to try to lose in that way? You may lose a game, but not in this way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're going to lose some games, and even when you do play great, you're going to lose. But the way we lost, we kind of gave them that. I think everything was on us. We didn't really, like I said, didn't know what we were doing on defense, communication. Our offense wasn't really clicking and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's okay. You know, we're going to learn from it. We're going to bounce back from it, like, you know, Sabrina said, and, you know, move forward.
Also, B is scheduled to return probably on Monday against the Mercury. I guess just how... that was KB over there. Of course. Well, you know what? Why don't I ask you about KB? Because she fired a rocket of a pass to Stewie. She's cutting with the basket. I guess just, we don't always talk about KB's passing. We talk about her hands. We talk about, you know, hustle plays she makes. I guess, when did you realize that she's also a really good passer?
I mean, that's just another attribute to her game. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff that you probably don't know about a lot of people, you know, and it just comes within the game. So, I mean, that's what she does.
And I guess going back to Benija, you know, scheduled to come back, I guess how much of an opportune time is this for you guys to get her back?
I mean, it's good now that we have everybody. Now we kind of have to now get the chemistry back, get the flow of things and stuff like that. So we have to work that into play, and, you know, Sabrina too being out and stuff like that. So it's good to have the whole team back now. We have to find ourselves and now keep pushing now.
In a sense of perspective, how much of a different team does Connecticut become with Marina Mabry in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, you know, she's a three-point shooter, so, you know, there's no more like sagging off and helping others. You know, we have to respect her, and also DP. So, I mean, she does bring, you know, a difference to them on the outside. So we have to adjust to that.
Stewie told us a few minutes ago that you were able to kind of feel yourself slipping a little bit against Dallas and carried over for this game. Just wondering how you feel that's what you get to kind of rebound from this stretch here.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have to find ourselves. You know, I think, like I said, I'll talk about myself. You know, we weren't there. We weren't locked in, especially defensively. I think that's one of our keys. I think that's what has helped us have this long stretch of wins, was our unity on defense and, you know, playing together. You know, when somebody's down or somebody gets beat, we always had that secondary help, and I don't think we had that today. Like I said, that comes from myself, not bringing the energy that I'm supposed to on defense and carrying that.
KT, I'm going to change course a little bit. Let's just talk about when you heard the news of Jalen Sherrod signing the rest of her season contract. How excited were you for her? And, you know, tonight at the end of the game, things got a little bit chippy. She did get her first WNBA technical. She said you owed her some assists. If there is a fine for her, will you take care of that fine?
Well, let's go back to the first one. It's a blessing. It's a blessing, definitely. You know, I always tell her to keep her head up, you know, wait for her opportunity. You know, when God closes one door, God's always going to bless you in a different way. We don't know how, but He will. And I think this is a way of God showing her path through the WNBA. So I'm so happy for her. And, you know, with the assist, you know, she ain't talked to me about that. Now, you know, I will go back and tell her, you know, you do have that NIL money that you have, so you ain't that broke, baby.
Took a few more.
Hey, KT. So a lot of talk about missed threes, selling for threes throughout the course of a game. Obviously, it's easy to kind of make that, come to that realization after a game or watching film or listening to what coaches, media members have to say. How do you kind of make that realization kind of throughout the course of the game, make those adjustments, and come back and try to win a game with you guys being in striking distance?
Sorry. Sorry.
I'm stuttering.
No, sorry.
No.
I mean, with that, we're gonna miss some shots and stuff like that. I think we just have to find other ways to get going. There's so much in basketball that you can do. So when your shot's not working, you can, get offensive rebounds, get steals and stuff like that. So I think we just have to work on that. But we just had an off night. I mean, not a big deal. We're just gonna bounce back and keep it moving.
Oh, hi, Kayla. On the night, you guys had 32 3-pointers, and Connecticut also really sort of made the paint difficult for you guys. How do you sort of strike the balance between finding those paint shots while also not relying too much on 3-pointers?
That's a good question. I think just within our offense, like I said, today our offense wasn't clicking today. We really couldn't find a rhythm. Normally when we do find rhythm, we get inside shots, which then leads to our outside. And I don't think we did that. JJ was, she was handling her business, but it was kind of tough for her down there. But there was, a lot of paint touches because we wasn't hitting shots. So I think once that opens up, once we start knocking down shots, then it kind of opens up everything else.
Thanks, KT.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.